Hey Space Watchers, and welcome back here from Vienna, from the Living Planet Symposium. In an age of climate crisis, wildfire and planetary scale risks, data are no longer optional, it's survival. But access to the data? Question mark. That is still a barrier. And so let's talk here with my guest also about Earth intelligence. I'm super proud now to be joined by Dr. Martin Langer, the CEO and CTO of Ororatech, one of Europe's gem, that's how I call it, in the NewSpace sector, focusing on thermal imaging in real time. Welcome, Martin. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm super pumped by this event, and it's great to be here. And thank you for having this with me, and also thank you for mentioning us in that way. So, yeah.
No, you know, it comes from the heart. Okay, where does Ororatech stands today in the entire ecosystem of Earth observation? So, and where do you see it then evolving from today? Because talking about the past is fine.
Yeah.
Talking about the status quo is tomorrow something from the past.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question. So right now we operate a fleet of 10 thermal satellites in orbit. It's the largest fleet of any private entity. But I'd very much like to talk about the users and the applications, and our wildfire solution. It's used by about 400 users on 400 different continents, both B2B and B2G, and really applied not only in active fire scenarios but also before and after the stuff happens. So we're also working more and more on this resilience, if you want, and that's important. And I think being here in the Living Planet Symposium, it's great, but I mostly work outside the space bubble nowadays, and I really enjoy it because it's really about how do we bring this information to the end customer, about the processing, about all these little details to lower the barrier of access. Looking into the future, we're going to expand the constellation, obviously, but for me that's an infrastructure topic. Okay. It's interesting. I'd like to talk about space all day long, don't get me wrong, but it's about getting the 99.8% of the population hooked to our data, getting that data out to any kind of operations that are related to fire, but also more and more getting our data out in terms of LST and SST, so land surface temperature, sea surface temperature, and get that data streams, that data pipelines running.
I see, and I'm happy that you used at least one of the buzzwords that were heard here more than once with resilience, so check that. So, I mean, from the core, Ororatech is known for its wildfire monitoring from space, so that's how we started, that's what to do. But as I mentioned before, data isn't useful unless it's accessible, obviously. So what is the biggest barrier you can see to broader data access, and how can these barriers be broken down while we're getting here these wonderful images?
It's wonderful, yeah.
And that's hot, we can tell you. It's quite hot from the back.
So I think mostly we're dealing with two barriers. So one barrier I really see is almost a language barrier, a translation barrier in between the jargon we're using in space and the things we're doing, and then the things the end user is confronted with, fighting in the trenches of all of this. They don't have a time to spend on translating any of that. So to go out and speak their language first, and then back translating it into our language. So that's a barrier.
Can you give me an example for that?
I mean, take all the abbreviations we got. Take GSD, take latency, take whatever you have in satellite language. The users, they don't care about satellites at all. They don't bother if we tell them, hey, this satellite is coming by at that time or that time. They don't bother about that. They bother about the result at the end of the day, and if we can get an insight or not, and if we can get an insight or not. And the second barrier is, how do you access the data? So traditionally, you're going to ship an image like after a day. You're going to task a satellite, you do whatever. So nowadays, what we do with our customers, I'll give you an example. We have 200 foresters in Chile running our fire spread model on their phones. They don't need anything else to do that other than their phone. They don't need any kind of PhD or education to do it. It's almost plug and play. So to lower the access, to the accessibility, the barrier of data access, to give everyone out there, at the end of the day, I literally mean everyone, the access to that data, that's the goal, and at the same point in time, it's the barrier we're all facing, because the truth is, space is not yet mainstream. We're working hard, but it's not done. We have to push harder for it.
I see. Let's talk now about your end customer, your end user, and so outside the bubble here. How do you make your service available to the non-space stakeholders, and in your case, potentially the first responders, insurance, forests, city planners, to be continued?
Yeah. So first of all, you have to meet them where they are. So I'm mostly not at space conferences anymore, so you rarely meet me at those events. So you gotta get in those places. You're gonna also hire people that speak that language, that have expertise, and you're then gonna face them where their problems are, and bring to them easy to use solutions that can really apply and can see the difference. And it can be tiny, it can be almost like a niche, but if you make a difference, you're gonna get the trust, and with trust you can build larger things. So our customers, we have a nice mixture which is all connected to fire, but not related to one single industry, not related to one single vertical, or we're doing B2B, we're doing B2G, we're doing it on government level, we're doing it at county level, we're doing it on very small levels. But we also operate with, for example, hotels that use our data, which is totally out of the mainstream, but interestingly, they mostly approach us. So we have a good inbound of people that come to us and say, hey, we got this problem, we need a solution.
I think I have to make it so what you do is probably pretty hot. Okay, that's one of the
pun intended, yeah. And every day we solve a fire.
But you might remember at GeoInt earlier this year, we had the opportunity to talk with Chris Anthony from the Earth Fire Alliance, and he was Cal Fire before, so running the fire brigades in California, and so he spoke also then in his interview about your services and comparable services in the US, because it's not one fits all. It's not one can help all.
No. And I think that in the future we gotta all team up. It's too large of a problem to think of we're all competing. No. To solve it, it needs all kind of effort from the public side, from the private side, from different entities pushing right now. So right now we're in good discussions with the EFA and Google and how to leverage both sides and build a bigger system and a better system for all of us.
Okay, cool. So last question. So what's your edge? So how do you balance speed, agility, and you said it with one word, trustworthiness. So you're a startup, startup 5 years, 7, 8 years out there, but still in this agile mode of a startup and from the mindset. So but then trustworthiness. We talk about very serious things with about fires. You talk with insurance company, very classic business. I don't want to call it old-fashioned, but classic business. So how do you get these people convinced?
I think the edge is that we're honest and transparent of what we can do and what we cannot do, and we try to stay humble with what we do. And at the same time, we had this advantage in the beginning that we started with the product and started with the customers. And if you're close to the customer, you can learn a lot. And we're still learning. We're learning every day on this use case that fascinates me because it has so many different angles. And then to translate it back to space and see what we can do with space technology to solve it. And that's only part of the picture, to accept also that space is only, solving a part of it. There's other means to do other stuff, And the edge at the end of the day is obviously we're the front runner on it. We hopefully we keep it that way. But I think with the closeness we have to the customer, the intimacy, that's our edge.
I have to ask the CTO in you, and to satisfy my own curiosity. What is the next big thing in thermal imaging? I mean, you have now an established product. You have it's proven, it works. What's next? So what is the big challenge?
So I think we have a couple of great things on our list. I'm not going to tell you. So
come on, it's just us.
It's just no.
Okay.
But obviously it connects. So since we are vertically integrated, we connect the end user to the platform. We connect all of it. This gives us insight what to make even better. And for me, we built the company in a way that we can iterate fast. So we iterate all the time. We're launching a payload version. The next satellites we launch to carry the next version of the payload, because we're learning, And if it's going to new bands, if it's going to higher resolution, if it's going to even better latency, we have plans. So, but I'm not able to share the details on it.
I'm super curious, and you made also our audience very curious what comes up the road, and I know we will stay in contact.
Stay connected.
Thank you very much, Dr. Martin Langner, here live for you from the Living Planet in Vienna. With that, Space Watch out.
Thank you.